Hi, I'm Kathleen DeValk. I'm from Capital One, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk to you a little bit about how we drive innovation using platforms and using platform foundational elements that we build upon. And hope you're all having a good conference so far. So what we realized over time, we see a familiar problem. And the familiar problem that we see is as we design and build applications over a long period of time, we have a proliferation of different user interfaces, different applications, different technology stacks, different frameworks, different tooling. And what we see over time as we build these different applications and solutions is invariably they wind up many of them, many different interfaces, no standardization through them. They are not unified, which provides a disjointed user experience to the end customer. And so what we decided was we wanted to embark on a mission. Our mission was to build an award-winning, unified user experience that brings together all of our software applications, all of our communication channels, and provides a seamless way for our customers to interact with our applications and access our products. And so in order to achieve this, we start building out a platform that allows us to build common frameworks, that allows us to build common tooling, and leverage this platform in order to drive that unified user experience, standardized across all of our applications. With this platform, then we enable developers. We make it easier for our developers to build new features, new applications, and new use cases on top of this common platform. By enabling the developers and making their lives easier, they can accelerate the delivery of new use cases and new products to market very, very quickly. And it frees them up from worrying about some of the foundational elements. One of the reasons we all love to build on AWS has great tools, and they take care of the heavy lifting for us. The non-differentiated capabilities that enable us to build our solutions. But we let AWS worry about those aspects for us. So we do the same thing. We focus on building this platform, enabling developers, and that helps them accelerate their innovations, and it helps them to build improvements over time. So why build a platform? Why does a platform actually help us in achieving this? When we build platforms, we build foundational elements that we can build on top of. So we stand on each other's shoulders. And with these platforms, with a common set of frameworks and tooling, we can standardize. We can standardize the look and feel. We can standardize our technology stack. We can standardize our tooling, which really helps developers. It simplifies the learning curve because everybody's using common tooling, and it allows things to operate very, very well together through standardization. The standardization also enables us to automate, and automation is the key to success at scale. And by standardizing, then we can automate once and reuse that automation and that tooling over and over again. And that's the other key point, is reuse. With standardization and building out of these platforms, we enable reuse of common capabilities. We don't have to repeat the common boilerplate code over and over again. We can leverage each other's work, and we can reuse UI widgets, we can reuse common capabilities, and we can reuse common tooling. And these things help us build on top of each other and help us to really accelerate both product delivery, both user interface and feature delivery, as well as driving us towards the standard unified user experience. So what do we mean by platform? Let's take a second to think about what we actually mean when we say platform. So our platforms are a logical collection of building blocks. And by developing these building blocks on a common framework, we can let them work together very easily. So we all love the interlocking brick concept, and they all work together, and everything builds on top of each other, and everything connects. So the key is developing the building blocks, but developing them with a common framework so that all of the pieces come together at the end. Then we allow the platforms enable us to share these capabilities with all of our development teams. We have multiple lines of business, we have multiple products that we deliver to the market, and we want to accelerate everybody's delivery through these common shared capabilities. And it also helps us automate. We can automate the entire process because we have common tooling, common building blocks, common technology, and we can automate it once and share it. So this allows us to build these building blocks. It allows us to accelerate innovation and accelerate delivery, and we can build on top of them. When we talk about platforms, there's a lot of different types of platforms that exist in the world. So we have generic platforms. So AWS is a generic cloud platform. It is a platform that allows us to build anything that we want. It's designed for builders. There's other types of platforms which are more special purpose platforms. So you could have big data platforms. You may have machine learning platforms. So SageMaker, for example, is an AWS technology that enables end-to-end machine learning. So by using these platforms, we can focus on our key differentiators that make our software usable and valuable to our customers. And so you don't have to worry about some of these common undifferentiated capabilities. You build on top of them. In our case, we have business platforms as well. So we're in the financial space. So there's banking platforms that we leverage. We build internal banking platforms. We have our decisioning platforms, which accelerates delivery of new decision making and managing risk models. And then we're going to talk a little bit today about a user experience platform that we're leveraging in order to achieve this objective. How do we become a successful platform? So the key to being a successful platform is really focusing on various aspects that are going to drive adoption, that are going to drive simplification, they're going to drive the developer experience. And so when you think about how you choose what platform you're going to build on top of, you want to build on the best. We build on AWS because they're best in class. And so when we envision our platforms, we want to drive adoption by being the best in class. And so we focus on building for excellence so that we can drive developer adoption. The second aspect is about collaboration. We collaborate with our stakeholders. You collaborate with your developer community so that you can have a feedback loop between you and the developers who are building on your platform. And obviously, we need to be agile. Things change. The world changes. We design for evolutionary architectures. We design for change. Our business cases change. Our scope changes. Our capacity needs change over time. Technology landscapes change over time. So we need to be agile, and we need to be able to pivot and adapt to the changing world in which we work. Key thing about platforms is to be customer focused. And sometimes when you're dealing with platforms, it's not the end user who's always your customer. It's the developer community that's going to leverage your platform in order to deliver their applications and solutions to their customers. And when you build on AWS, you want to build good services that provide high availability and security, and you want to make sure that you are meeting your SLAs, you're meeting your performance targets, and you're hitting your operational excellence metrics. So you got to be customer focused, and it's interesting because the customer of a platform is the developer community that leverages the platform to build their solutions. And of course, as I mentioned, automation. Automation is key. Automate everything. I used to have a rule, if you do it twice, automate it. Why? Because one of the best ways that we can scale ourselves in this complex, ever-changing world is to automate things. And this is a mechanism we can use through automation of the entire process, from the time I commit the code to the time I deploy the code, to continuously monitoring my systems and feeding that back into a continuous improvement process. Automation is the key to scalability. So I'm going to take you on a little journey through how we build, enable, engage, and empower for our developer community. And we're going to later share an example of one of the platforms we built and some of the successes we've seen. So the first key is to build for excellence. We build for excellence. We start with well-architected. We are well-architected by design. We are secure by design. We begin with patterns and practices that help enable our developer community to do things the right way, to build the right things, and build them the right way. We focus on resiliency. Our software applications are mission critical to our end customers, to the users who are using our banking services. We want them to be very secure and very reliable. And we push left all the way to the security. We design for security. We code for security. We certify our developers in secure coding practices. We have architecture reviews. We get everybody AWS certified. So these are ways that we design to be well architected to start with. Then we follow that up. Second pillar is tooling. That's the key to enabling the developer community. Developer tooling, test tooling that takes you all the way up the test pyramid, from unit testing to integration testing, contract testing, to user interface testing, all through these common tooling. Enable collaboration through forums, through sharing, through communities, and build operations and monitoring tooling that allows you not just to build your software, but actually see how it's working in the real world. Again, we automate this through the entire process with a common set of automated CI/CD tools and CI/CD pipelines that allows us to not only design things right and deploy things in an easy way, but it allows us to enable governance through the pipeline, which is, again, another excellent way to scale your governance practices. So let's talk a little bit about the developer community. It's very important to focus on the developer community because you're trying to drive adoption of your platform. So we start with a developer portal, a single point where developers can go to learn everything that they need to get their API documentation, to do some integrated testing with your services and try them out to see how they work, to read blogs and articles to learn about how best to use the platform for their particular needs. We build tooling, documentation around how to use the tools, and requirements about how you should interact with the platform in order to deliver the best application and get the best use out of the platform. Follow it up with training, because you need to learn, you need to make it easier for developers, you need to accelerate the learning curve. So developer guides, how-to manuals, examples, tutorials, all of the things that we learn that we consume from AWS. When we learn how to use AWS, we follow up and use these same mechanisms to enable our developer community and enable the education of the developers who are going to build on top of the platform. And then we create a solution architect community. The solution architect community helps us understand the design patterns. We build reference architectures. We can understand how things are going to work. We do design reviews of each other's designs. And we have a community of practice, an architectural community of practice across our entire development community. And then we engage with them. So you can't just build the tools and just set them loose. You need to talk to them. You engage with your stakeholders. Again, the developer is your customer. Listen to the voice of your customer. If you want to build the best platform and you want to drive adoption, you build for the developer, you build for builders, and you get their voice into your designs and your continuous improvement process. And you measure it. We measure it in a number of ways. We measure by the level of adoption. We measure by the Net Promoter Score. We measure by how engaged the developers are in the community. That's how we can measure and observe our success. And then get feedback. got to get feedback, because you take your feedback, you validate your learning, and you adjust and you adopt the feedback from the customers. That's very important. If you're not listening to the feedback of your customers, you're not enhancing your platforms for the future. Customer surveys are a good way to do that, developer requests, new feature requests, and leveraging your community. And by doing all of these aspects, engaging with the stakeholders, listening to your customers, measuring your success, and measuring the satisfaction of your community, and incorporating their feedback allows you to continuously improve. Because today you may not be best in class, but that's your goal, best in class. And then we need to empower the community. So it's not just about building the platform, teaching developers how to use it, and listening to them. We need to empower them to get their work done, to get their job done. So it starts with a foundation that enables contribution. Contribution is essential. That's how the platform builds on itself. That's how we get developers engaged more in the platform. So you gotta enable contributions to the platform. On top of that, extensibility. Must be extensible. You want to develop these new use cases. You want to bring new products to market. And in order to do that, you need to not only enable the developers to contribute to the platform, but build on top of it and extend the platform in various ways, because different users, different use cases need different things. Some common, some a little different. So you need to be able to contribute, and you need to be able to extend. Then we promote ownership. You build it, you run it. We promote ownership so that the teams that build their different use cases on top of this platform, they feel a true sense of ownership of their pieces. And that sense of ownership gives you pride in ownership. And then we don't leave them alone and just say you build it, you run it. We actually enable them with tools that help them operate it, that help them monitor it, that help them manage it. We build tools that help them do deployments through our CI/CD pipelines, to do patching and vulnerability management. We enable tooling that gives them visibility and for reliability engineering and visibility to see what's happening in their systems so they can fine-tune them and optimize them as they need to. And this end-to-end set of capabilities and set of concepts helps drive that adoption so that we can deliver these capabilities to the market. We can enable our development team. We can empower them to build what they need and run it themselves with all the tooling that they require. Let's talk a minute about the contribution model, because the contribution model, how do you get your developer community to contribute back to your platform so that you can help grow it over time? You might start small, and then you might build on it and build on it. And so the developer community will be much more engaged when they feel like they can contribute to the platform. We build on AWS. It's designed for builders. It's flexible. You can leverage managed services, but they're very configurable. If you want more freedom, you can build something and leverage lower level infrastructure services. So you want to give the developer the sense that they have freedom and they have some control. So when you enable a contribution model, your developer community becomes much more engaged. And you can enable this in a number of different ways. Here are two examples that we use internally that work well for us. The contribution model, basically, I build some tooling together with you or on the side, and I donate it into the platform, and I make it part of the platform. This can be done locally in a development team and then given to the platform, or together with the development team. Bring teams together to co-develop. So that's one way that we can enable contributions. Another way that we can enable contributions is through an inner sourcing model. So we borrow the ideas from the open source community, where you build a community around it, you build a process to identify features and functionality that you want to add to your platform, you build a review process, and you enable the community to actually deliver code that helps you enhance your platform. Again, based on the guidelines, based on the standards, based on the patterns. So we've already established all of these things. So by giving them the ability to actually have some control over their destiny and contribute actually to the source code, helps to engage the development community, helps to accelerate the development of the platform, and we can do more because we're working together collaboratively. So what this does for us is it helps us to become an ecosystem. So the success of the platform is in building the ecosystem. If you think about a content delivery platform, your content providers go to the platform because it has a very large user base. And users are attracted to the platform because it has great content. And so it becomes a virtuous circle. The more content you have, the more users you attract. The more users you have, the more content developers you attract. And so we leverage that kind of concept here because the platform builders begin with some platform elements that accelerates the developer community to deliver and create new digital experiences. The platform enables the digital experiences. It accelerates development of new features and functionality, and the community can contribute back to the platform. And this is a virtuous circle that builds on itself. So that's a little bit about our platform strategy and why we embarked on this journey to build this platform so that we could achieve our goal, be best in class, and an award-winning, unified user experience. So I'm going to bring up my colleague, Jade Chu. Jade Chu is the Vice President of Engineering, and her teams are actually building this platform. And she's going to come and talk to us a little bit about the journey, and she's going to take us on a deep dive of how we actually built this platform and share with you some of the successes that we had along the way. Jade?
Thanks. Thank you. Every time, can y'all hear me? Okay, awesome. Every time I listen to your talk, I learn something new, and that's really awesome. That's what I love about platforms. Thank you for the introduction. Super excited to be here with you all today. I have the privilege of talking to you all about our journey here at Capital One for our UX platform. So as a bank, in addition to bank branches and our cafes, our customers actually are able to access their online or their accounts online 24/7. They can log in with one set of credentials. They can see all of the financial products that they have and see all of the details that go along with them. The way that we enable our online banking is through our UX platform. We deliver native app and web experiences. It's got a clean and intuitive design, and we are serving millions of customers each day. Let me talk to you a little bit more about what scale looks like at Capital One. We do have tens of millions of monthly active users. So those are customers that engage with us at least once every month. Typically, our customers are logging in to access their financial products, including credit cards, checking accounts, savings accounts, auto finance loans, and they're logging in to check their balances, make transfers, pay bills, send people money, which is really great. If you look at the screenshot on the left, that is a snapshot of what our review in the App Store looks like. We have over 5 million reviews. We're pretty proud of our rating, and we're ranked 5th in the finance category in the App Store. So as a platform, we also have internal customers. We have over 1,400 associates at Capital One across tech, product, design, and risk that all work together to create these experiences for our customers. Our engineers are using 3 primary UI languages: JavaScript, Swift, and Kotlin. And altogether, this group of amazing people are responsible for hundreds of banking features that service our customers every day. We are based in 4 primary locations in the United States. That's San Francisco, New York, McLean in Virginia, and Richmond in Virginia. We are, like many of you all, probably distributed for the last couple of years. Our internal customers, much like our external customers, are, again, distributed across the country. Capital One, our native app, has won the J.D. Power Award in 2017, in 2018, and most recently in 2022. Back in 2024, we embarked on this journey to bring online banking to our customers, and our code bases date back to that point in time. We had built 3 distinct applications in web, in iOS, and Android. And initially, that was fine. We were building our initial customer set to service our customers. What we found over time was that we started to face issues scaling new customer experiences all across the 3 different channels to customers at the same time. So in 2019, we began this journey to build out a best-in-class UX platform. And as I talk you through this journey, I also want you to know that today we have over 800 front-end engineers from across the company that are actively contributing. And we have many more engineers on the back end that help us with our infrastructure, with our APIs and our services, as well as the underlying core systems in our at Capital One. All right, let's talk about how we built it. Online banking that is available 24/7 has to be resilient by design. We are well architected. We rely on AWS to make this possible. I'm going to talk through some of the services that we use. So we leverage AWS's CloudFront to deliver our static content that lives within our S3 bucket. We operate our platform infrastructure in multiple AWS regions so that if for any reason there's a failure, we have an alternate backup plan. Our VPCs run across the multiple AZs in each region, and we have a scaled container platform where all of our microservices live. We are constantly exploring additional services that AWS offers so that we can continue to evolve our platform and provide our developer community with the services that AWS is also providing. We run Route 53 between our regions using latency-based routing. And we run disaster recovery exercises on a regular basis. So we run health checks across our infrastructure, and if for whatever reason the failure threshold is met, what we will do is we'll fail over the traffic from one region into the alternate region. We do run these on a regular basis so that we can demonstrate we're able to fail away from one region. Takes a couple minutes to do so, and then fail back into BAU. As a result, we have reduced customer impacting incidents and the customers that are impacted by it by over 80%. What's more interesting in our disaster recovery exercises and doing them routinely is that we've actually improved overall automation and the auto failover capability of dependent systems downstream. The reason why I find that really interesting is as we are doing our exercises, other systems that are dependent upon our infrastructure are also incorporating best practices and automating the failovers that's needed for our infrastructure as a whole. Now, as a financial institution, we are also secure by design. Protecting sensitive information is a top priority for us. We leverage a number of AWS security tools, including Shield, encryption, and their firewalls. We also make sure we handle requests that contain sensitive data, like credit card, bank accounts, in the right way so that we monitor them effectively. We operate with DevSecOps principles. We're secure by design. We have secure coding practices. We run security scans throughout our pipeline. And we have continuous security monitoring across our infrastructure and production. Anything we find, any opportunities we find, are circled back into our internal processes for remediation. So now with our infrastructure well architected in AWS, let's talk about the next part of our journey. Don't worry, we did not build this in AWS. So the lines that you see here are the dependencies within our code base back before we started this process. As you can see, the project complexity that was there in our code base made it really difficult for an engineer to come in and start contributing. We couldn't add a new engineer into the problem to make it easier to launch new experiences for customers. We required them to have a really deep understanding of the code base. It was equally hard to just add new engineers to build new banking experiences for our customers. This added to our inability to coordinate across web, iOS, and Android, and this is one of the reasons that helped us recognize we wanted to build a UX platform. And finally, this is not the best developer experience, and we were having a really hard time attracting talent to come and work on this with us. As a part of our platform, we made a declaration to move to mono repos. This gave us the ability to simplify the code base that was there, to remove some of the dependencies, and have a more standard way to share code. We also introduced a graph-based build system that has dependency analysis. It has some capabilities that allow us to have pull requests that results in minimal conflicts, fewer merge time. All in all, it created a developer experience that was a little bit better rather than having to do a full build each time. We also build common tooling. So as we were moving the code from the many repos that were there, we modernized our application and adopted a modular app architecture. We created common tooling that we called Toolbox to enable our feature engineers to build banking features as independent units. Those we called plugins. We moved from the legacy that you see on the left, where everyone built the full screen experience all together, into a modular view on the right, where we started breaking down features that were wrapped in our common tooling so that we can empower our engineers to deliver experiences as decoupled units without stepping on each other. Our common tooling also helped us enforce platform quality requirements, including data access and our architecture, our test coverage expectations, which we have at 85% unit test coverage, and making it easier for our developers to adopt primitives, components from our design system. As a result of the mono repo and our common tooling, we went from over 150 front-end code repositories, now down to 3. We went from many architecture patterns, now down to 1. And our features are really increasing our unit test coverage for each of our experiences. So looking at our pipeline, we have one pipeline that is there for platform capabilities and for features that are released to production. We don't do it alone. We leverage a number of open source software to help us build and our building and our testing automation. After an engineer builds out a feature or platform capability, we have tests that run before the code is merged into our repo. Once it's merged, additional tests run, including our business critical end-to-end tests. We are striving for full automation, and candidly today we have a blend of automated and manual regression testing that is performed to certify a release. When all features are validated and the platform looks good and we have our sign-off, that's when the changes are released to production. I would love to stand here and tell you all that if you build it with excellence, the developers will come. Unfortunately, that is not directly the case. So the next step of our journey, we want to enable our developer community. In our self-service portal, which is easily discoverable from our internal sites, we have API documentation, platform requirements, architecture guidance. It is 100% self-service and kept up to date, which is really important. It provides training and requirements for how to build within our UX platform. And the portal also helps the community know what is coming up in our roadmap. The release schedule, moratoriums, calendars, etc. If the portal doesn't have the answer for whatever reason, how to get help either in one of our many Slack channels or feedback forums, it's all clearly listed out on the front. Now let me talk a little bit more about the self-guided training that we provide. We have self-service training for our developers, for our designers, for our product owners via separate training paths within our internal learning site. These learning paths are job specific because the needs of each of these job families are different. So for example, a developer can access information such as destination architecture, dynamic experiences, how to build personalized features for customers. And in this online self-paced training, there are video walkthroughs of our senior engineers doing architecture overviews, step-by-step instructions on how to set up your environment, sample coding exercises to help you create your feature, and of course, risk and security training that are built into the learning paths by default. As a regulated industry, in our developer portal, we share detailed information about designing and building banking features. Our intent governance review is a process that is there to ensure all of these procedures are clearly documented, and as a developer, you have easy access to them. This process is there also to encourage our developers to use pre-approved architecture patterns. If you use an existing pattern that is there, we expedite your approval and you are able to get your banking features to your customers faster. For new architecture patterns and platform capabilities that have a broader impact on our platform, we intentionally slow those down. We want to make sure that the things that could actually impact a broad range of developers and our customers go through the right security reviews, tech reviews, and socialization forums so that everyone is aware of what is happening. We want to make sure that we don't unintentionally introduce one-off solutions or divergent patterns. This process is one of the keys into how we're able to create a UX platform to enable our hundreds of front-end engineers. Feedback is a very important part of this journey. The voice of the customer is critical to building a successful platform. In our senior executive committee, we have our most senior level leaders in our company that support the UX platform. They come together for feedback, for buy-in, for decision-making, to demonstrate that our commitment to this platform is there. We also have customer advisory boards by language so that we can come together as engineers to prioritize the most important platform capabilities, to celebrate our wins, and to be transparent about our opportunities. In addition, we have communities of practice in our guilds to engage with the broader associate community to evangelize adoption, our best practices, and upcoming roadmap. And last and certainly not least, we create developer forums, fun events, hackathons to support the builder community and to continue to bring innovation into our platform. And then we measure the heck out of it. Adoption and convergence are two of the measurements that as a platform we focus on to ensure that we're moving in that right direction. We also measure platform usage metrics, including build time, merge time, developer cycle time, release time, and the number of incidents that's been caused. We measure our internal monthly active users, just like we measure our external monthly active users. We use a number of feedback mechanisms, including our Net Promoter Score, or NPS, surveys, and empathy interviews to measure satisfaction. Now, over the course of time since 2019, we have had tremendous improvement in our NPS score. It also is not a straight line. So as we continue to collect feedback, we are engaging with our developer community and creating that virtuous circle so that we have the ecosystem to build the banking features that we need. Empowering contributions. This one is my favorite. So to empower our contributions, we have jointly prioritized, we have inner-sourced and co-developed platform capabilities. We've moved engineers around within our organization to focus in the areas that need it the most, and we have created virtual teams to align as a specific capability. Now, we recommend all of these features. They all will help create that virtuous circle and that ownership for the platform. The key to many of this is communication. So I will share that we have had situations where teams were not completely aligned in how we were going to build out a specific platform capability. It caused opportunities for a lot of discussion. Generally, it was around the architecture decisions that were being made. Platform contributions are really important. We have senior architects that will engage with teams to talk about those capabilities. These are some of the ways that we continue to enable our developer community to come in and work within our platform. As a result of this work, we've changed how we work. On the left is where we used to be, where one full screen was built by a very large team. And we are now in a world where feature engineers can focus on building customer features independently. They don't have to worry about stepping on other teams and causing unintended bugs or defects. In our move to build out this platform, we broke our screen intentionally into pieces. And as you can see on the right, feature teams can now independently build, evolve, and ship their features. With common tooling around each of these features, the platform requirements and guardrails are still in place. So the expectations and the quality expectations that are there from a platform perspective continue to be met. We have unlocked our path into a personalized future. As you can see, with separate features, we can now put the screens back together in a way that is tailored and personalized for customers. At the end of the day, we are here to continue to win awards. We are here to continue to deliver best-in-class experiences for our banking customers. And then let's talk about some of our key takeaways. Our platform has to be well architected and secure by design. And that has led to an improvement for our external customers in the incidents that are impacting them. We want to set quality standards with common tooling, with shared CI/CD pipelines, so that we can have that high level and excellent expectations for our platform as a whole. And we need to obsess about our customers, our external customers and our internal customers, and continue to fuel that virtuous cycle. Thank you all very much for attending our session. We invite you to join us at our Capital One booth out onto the floor. We've got a talented team here to demo some of these experiences that I've talked about today. And if you all have any questions for Kathleen or I, we will be outside.